Run your business like it's about to go bankrupt. Have 1 year of working capital, then have another year of payroll.
Welcome to the Red to Black podcast with your hosts Werner and Mario. We are committed to creating better investors. Whether you are investing in yourself or another business, we show you how to find, evaluate, and buy highly profitable businesses. Create that financial freedom you have always wanted so you can do what you love. We invite you to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification for future updates, and share this far and wide. Thank you for taking time out of your day to engage with us. Welcome to the Red to Black podcast with your hosts Werner and Mario. And today we are doing a short episode on how Floyd Mayweather trains. And the moral of the story is never rest on your laurels. Why do I say that? Well, whenever you're investing in a business or buying a business or building a business, you never, ever want to just assume that everything's going to go hunky-dory. I'll go back to an example in the flying community. I used to be a CH-53 Delta and Echo pilot in the Marine Corps, and the Delta aircraft was retired because it was about 40 or 50 years old. The thing was almost a hunk of junk. It was amazing that the enlisted Marines could keep that thing in the air. Every time I went up, I'd say 89% of the time I had some sort of emergency. What that taught me is never just assume things are going to go the way you think they're going to go. Always get up each day with a plan and execute on that plan. When you have an investment that you've just purchased, don't just assume it's going to go hunky-dory. Constantly or over a certain period of time, look at that investment, reevaluate that investment. If you have a business, stay on that business every day. You can take a break, but just stay on that business all the time. It's not like a frantic, frenetic kind of focus. It's more of like just evaluate and be cold cut and dry and assess what's going on. Now, for your own mindset, always keep up a tempo of focus. Floyd Mayweather, there's a boxer who said he trained with a professional boxer. He said, I've never seen a guy who's worth like $100 million who's trained like he was broke. That really imprinted in my mind. The fact that a guy is so successful, yet he trains like he's broke. That's how we can all lead our lives as investors to make us better investors. Mario, what are your thoughts?
Run your business like it's about to go bankrupt.
Great
Have
thought.
have 1 year of working capital, then have another year of payroll. Run your business like there's constantly threats going to attack you. Even if you have a great business and you have limited competitors and y'all kind of get along, run your business like at any moment you're about to go bankrupt. Have a sense of urgency develop within your leadership cadre or your training and development cadre a sense of urgency that we need to execute. We need to put this together. Manage expectations, focus on logistics, and have that drive within the organization that at any moment we're about to go broke. That's a fighter. So he's literally going into a fight camp like in the middle of a desert, and he's getting everything out of his life. He's zeroing himself out and saying, I'm going to take this fight as serious as when I was broke. The cars, the hotels, the jets, the yachts, all that's out of his life. He goes into this focus, this monomaniacal focus for whatever the fight, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. He goes into the desert, the metaphorical desert, and he executes like he's absolutely broke. If more businesses did that, we'd had stronger returns on invested capital. A lot of companies are they're getting lazy. They're going after cheap debt. They're saying, well, we can't really make a profit this year, but we can survive off this cheap debt. So we're going to go to the banks. We're going to go to the bond markets. We're going to go raise this capital. And we're going to try to fight off of cheap capital. It's going to go bad, folks. You want to invest, or you want to own the businesses, or you want to start the businesses where the people are fighting like they're broke.
Yeah, so that's a great point. And it all points back to one thing. There's one thing that matters in a business, and it's one thing and one thing alone, and that's cash flow. You have no cash flow unless you're backed by the Federal Reserve, which some institutions are. We won't say who they are. You are going bankrupt. You are out of blood. Cash flow equals blood. No blood, you die. It sounds really, really harsh, yet it's the truth. So when you're doing what Mario says, always go back and look at the cash flow. The cash flow is the metric that will tell you what's going on. And we're talking about cash flow from operations. What is the company making from its goods and services? This also applies to you as an entrepreneur. If you're building your own business, do you have cash flow? Are you maintaining your cash flow? Maybe you hit a rough patch and the cash flow goes down, or maybe you can increase it. That's your metric. Everything else that Mario talked about points to the cash flow. If your management team's suffering, your goods and services are going to suffer. If your sales team suffers, then your sales are going to suffer. It all points back to the cash flow. So that's the most important thing. And that's why most people don't understand what's going on in the world today, is that the government took over 60% of the GDP. What that means in layman's terms is the government took over 60% of the economy. That means 60% of the economy is not producing goods and services. And that's why homelessness is skyrocketing. That's why supply shortages are skyrocketing. They've taken the control out of the hands of you and me. And it's you and me with our creative efforts and creative abilities that take risks, like we're doing right now in this podcast, to go out and build something. When that goes to a bureaucracy, which you and I have worked in, it's completely inefficient. I don't care what anyone says. You and I have been in bureaucracy, me for 9 years, you for 17 years. The Marine Corps would spend 500 to 1,000% on a wrench for a helicopter. Things should have cost 200, cost 1,000. It's just insanity. So it really goes back to, are we building it as a community, or are a few dictocrats, kleptocrats, whatever you call them in the government building it? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let me restate that in a different way.
Yeah, go for it.
60% of the GDP of goods and services is funded through the federal government. Not They're not running those goods and services. They don't produce any
Yeah,
goods and
yeah,
services.
exactly.
So you have a customer, 60% of the goods and services that are produced, the GDP in this country is for a customer called Uncle Sam. And sometimes he's not the wisest in his purchasing agreements. There's some pretty horrific deals that the government signs up for, because at the end of the day, yeah, sometimes it's just easier to sign this contract. If a contractor shows up, he's here, he's on time, he's got a good looking crew, they're clean cut, they're ready to work, and you do these cost plus 10% contracts or cost plus 15. Well, the costs, there's a lot of costs with those that are just sloppy. It's a sloppy way to do a contract, but it happens sometimes, especially when you need something done fast. And you know, it is what it is. But ultimately what we're talking about is running your life. Whether you're investing in yourself, you're investing in someone else's business, you're starting a business, you're buying a business. Run that organization that you can affect as if you're going to go broke at any time. Be disciplined, show up on time, work hard, have a sense of urgency, and understand it, and breathe this into your folks that complacency kills. It kills the individual, it kills the team, it kills the corporation, it kills the organization. Complacency always kills.
Yeah, and when you're looking at a business, in terms of the reason why I gave up that government example is because it's breeding complacency. And thank you for the correction. It's not the government's running it; they've just taken over. Like that 60% could have been people working to make that money. Now it's transferred to the government. That's just transferring the money to the people. So that's why you're seeing some things happen in the economy that are not normal. So what Mario's saying is that complacency is key. And when you're investing in business or building your own business, look at your employees. Look at them in the face, or go, if you're buying a business, if you can go to the business, look at their employees. Do they have a smile? Do they have a hop in their step? Because you've seen it where you've gone to a business and people are just sitting around. You're like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you here if you're just going to sit around? I get it if you're on your lunch break, but you can see that effort in the business if that's been cultivated. You can see that in the body language of the individuals or the employees working for that business. Complacency, lack of integrity, that will start showing up in your products not showing up on time and not having a high quality product. Margins will suffer. It'll literally permanent. That's why Mario's really talking about that as an investor or building your own business. It's one of the biggest things, as you said, complacency kills. It's really, you do not want to invest in business that has complacent environment unless you can turn it around, unless you can control it, or you do not want to allow complacency in your own business to profligate throughout that business. Any final thoughts, Mario?
whether it's complacency or it's discipline, it kind of spreads. You watch those boys down in Texas with that swagger in their step, and you're kind of like, man, I need to sit up a little straighter. I need to walk a little taller. I need to lengthen my stride a little bit. And you hang out with the wrong folks, and you're like, I can get a little, I can take it easy today. I can take a day off. I can take another day off. Let's have another adult beverage. It's just, who that culture within that company, that culture within your friends, or that culture within your state, it spreads. It's something that you can push out on both the negative and the positive. And you want to, if you're going to have to do one of them, you're going to want to have the discipline, not the complacency. Thanks for your time, Warner.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening. Okay, man. Thank you for listening to this podcast. We invite you to get to know us by clicking on our LinkedIn profiles in the description of this video. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification for future updates, and share this content with your networks. Thank you for your valuable time and insights. We greatly appreciate it.